So, today is Thursday, May 5th, 2011, and we are interviewing John, known as Jack Corrigan, at the LaSalle, Illinois Veterans Home. And Mr. Corrigan was born September 4th, 1943. My name is Cheryl Walker, and I'll be interviewing you. Mr. Corrigan, could you state for the record what war and branch of service you served in?
I was in the Army in the Vietnam War.
Okay. And you were in the service from what years?
66 to 69.
66 to 69. Where did you serve?
In Vietnam. I was in Vietnam for up at Hue Phu Bai, was where our base was, but I used to haul supplies from Da Nang up to Hue Phu Bai. And or either that or we go to Hue and then unload LSTs, bring supplies to the thing. I was in an outfit to where the only guys that could leave the compound were the guys in the motor pool. Everybody else that come there had to stay for 1 year. They couldn't leave the compound, they couldn't go outside it, couldn't do nothing. Us guys in the motor pool were the only ones that could leave. It was kind of you had to have a top secret security clearance to get in there to begin with. And that's why us guys in the motor pool were the only ones allowed out. The other guys had to stay there because if they were captured or something, it's all this top secret security stuff. Even I got medevac out of Vietnam, and I spent 3 months in the hospital in Japan, and they cured up what I had, and then they sent me to Okinawa for a year. I was in a Nike Nuke Hawk and Hercules missile program that were facing toward Russia and China. So I was in a motor pool there too. So we were never allowed inside the building where all the machines and everything was at. And the motor pool just supplied stuff to the base and stuff or whatever.
So, you must have saw combat.
No.
No.
Over there it stayed wet and damp so long. Our feet and stuff were never dried out. So I had some kind of a thing growing on the bottoms of my feet. And they took me and they put me in the hospital in Japan. They used to burn them with electric needles, and I'd soak them in for formaldehyde. It cured it, but they did cured it completely. So, and then they shipped me to Okinawa for a year to finish out my term. But
were there many casualties in your unit?
no, not in our unit, because we mainly just hauled supplies back and forth. We get in a convoy of like 100 trucks, and then they'd have a Huey helicopter flying back and forth over the top of us. I only got scared one time. They blew up a bridge in the back of us and one in front of us. And the weeds on the side of the truck were as high as a cab. And I looked for 1 million of them to come out of the bushes at the same time, but it didn't happen, thank God. Other than that, we took care of ourselves.
Tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences.
Over there, we were running a convoy one time and they blew up a bridge in front of us and one in back of us, and I thought, oh, we've had the course. Because each one of us guys in the truck had another guy riding shotgun with us. And over there you didn't go over the tops of the mountains, you went back and forth on the sides of the mountains. You got to the top, then you went back and forth going down the other side. When you look out the side, it was a long way down there. There was a few trucks that didn't make it, but I wasn't in none of the groups that didn't make it. We all made it, but other than that, and then we was in a compound that had a big fence around it, about 12 foot tall, and then about 6 foot on another side, a big fence about 12 foot tall. And sometimes during the middle of the night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, they cranked the siren. You get out of bed and get out to. Everybody had a position to go to, because in case we were attacked and stuff like that. Other than that, kind of boring, really.
What about any memories or of experiences or whatever from the other two places, Japan, Okinawa, that you were at? Did you have any of those?
No, I was in the hospital in Japan for 3 months, and then what they do with you is, if they fix you up and everything, they send you home. Well, they fixed me up and then they sent me to Okinawa, and it was quite an experience seeing the different people and stuff like that. And Japan, I couldn't believe that they were thicker than hair on a dog's back. I mean, the people were just, and when the trains come into the station and stuff, I got the people just getting off them to go to work and stuff. I was in where the nuclear reactors are blowing up now over in Japan. We were down in Tokyo a couple times, just to visit and stuff like that. But there's so many people over there, and there are houses you can stick your hand between them. I mean, and there's 3 or 4 families living in the same house. Instead of going out, they go up. And like I said, 3 or 4 families live in the same house and take care of each other and stuff like that. And they got a lot of stuff different than what we got. I mean, you learn their language, or you learn the slang parts of their language and stuff like that. But there is no way a person can learn to write and stuff like the symbols and stuff they make. I could never do it, but it was quite an experience. To this day, I think that everybody that graduates from high school should go in the Army the next day. Teach them a little discipline, to take orders, to do what you're told to do, instead of like these kids are doing nowadays, doing anything they want to do. If you did that in the service and stuff, I mean, you got in big trouble. And drugs and stuff, they put you in prison. And because I got a nephew that was over in Germany. Well, him and 3 or 4 buddies had an apartment. Well, one of the buddies had some drugs stashed in the apartment. They all went to prison, to that big famous prison here in the United States. They all had to pay for what the one kid did. So that's the way it should be and stuff. So, like I said, I told my family, none of my kids or my daughter, nobody had to go to service. It was my sister and me and my brother. And my brother didn't have to go because I was in there. That's supposed to have 2 of the same family in there at the same time. So I got to be the lucky one to go, the oldest one. So it's quite an experience. You'll never forget about it. So.
Were you awarded any medals or citations?
No, just the good conduct medal and the service medal and stuff like that. No, I wasn't wounded or in some of the stuff like the guys are now. I said when we got into Iran, we ain't never going to get out of there. The people have been fighting for thousands of years, and they're going to keep fighting. All of our guys are over there trying to help them. They won't even help themselves. They expect all our guys to do everything for them. It's quite an experience. That's sand over there, and it was jungle over there. That's all the big difference. And they use that Agent Orange over there. Some of the guys got the Agent Orange. They were thinking, I got MS, is what I got. I went through the service, and then I worked for 30 years in the factory. And then when I was in the factory, the nurse says, your gait or your walk is not right. So she sent me to a doctor, and then he sent me to a neurologist, and they did an MRI, and they detected the start of MS. Why I got it, there's no history in the family all the way back or anything. Why I got it, nobody knows. And I did a lot of studying on it. It's 90% of our women that get MS. So they can't put Agent Orange over there because all them women weren't over there. So it's just, I don't know, nobody knows. I take these shots every day. It's supposed to slow it down and keep it from progressing as fast. I've tried about 3 or 4 different kinds of medicine. There's one when you first get MS, and then there's one later on that's given with chemo and what's called Novantrum. I got a port here in my chest. They give you like an IV once a month. You can only take it for 2 years because there's some side effects after a certain length of time. What I do it helps me a lot, and I can't take it all the time, the steroids. I get an IV steroid on Tuesday. I can almost run around the block on Wednesday, but the next week towards Wednesday, you know you need another dose of steroids. But they do fantastic for you. But long-term use of them can cause real bad problems. They can cause osteoporosis and a lot of other disease. They're only good for, I took them for years, which the doctor up in Chicago took me off them. They're good for a short 2 or 3 days to help you get perked back up, but they're not for a long-term use because of the side effects and stuff. So between that and here, and I was a little leery about coming here to begin with, and because I'd never been in like this, something like this before. They treat you good here, and I couldn't walk at all when I first got here. I was on the west side, and they used to use a Sarah to get me out of bed, put me in bed, put me on the toilet, everything. And then physical therapy got me some braces, and started walking me. I could, girl with the lady on each side and one pulling the chair, I could walk damn the length of that hall over there, and stuff. And like yesterday, people that have MS cannot be in the heat at all, because the heat brings out you got worse. I used to go out to the farm, mow the yards, do a lot of stuff out there, and I get up to more stuff and I couldn't walk. Well, and then when I got here, she was applying heat to my legs. I said, you told her physical therapy, they're doing that wrong. You apply ice to my legs, like then they started doing that all the time. Like yesterday, they applied ice on my legs, and I rode the bicycle for about a half hour, and then they walked me from the hall, from physical therapy room down towards the canteen, and it's something you can't give up on. Once you give up, you're done. There's no brain. My left leg is a lot worse than my right leg, but once you stop, even with physical therapy and with moving and stuff, there's 2 or 3 guys here that started out with MS, and they just give up. Once you give up, you're done. It takes and gets a hold of you, and then you can never get it back. They've got some new medicines out there working on. I was reading about one the other day that will repair some of the damage that's already been done. But it's still in an experimental stage yet, and there's some real bad side effects to it. It's not worth taking the chance, because it can be repairing this, and I can dissolve if you got a clot, but that clot might go to your brain. Then you are in bad shape. Because I know of a fellow that had a blood clot in his leg, and it dissolved the blood clot, and it went to the brain. So there's side effects to everything, I guess. Once they get them cured, then I'll try it. I'll try anything. I mean, and then they were talking about the stem cell research and everything that's being done for MS and stuff. I said, I'll try it. I ain't got nothing to lose. But for the last couple of years, I've been staying just about the level. If I don't get any worse, I'll be glad of that. I feel like $1 million. I feel like I could jump over the moon. But it started out with the legs. I went to a seminar the other day, and 90% of them were women. And it all affected the left side of their body. The left leg, the left arm, half of them were going blind in the left eye. So it's, if it was just one thing, maybe they could find a cure for it. But there's so many different types and different kinds and it affects everybody different. I've got a friend that got it when we was in high school, and he just spent 48 years in a nursing home. And I've got another lady friend, we used to work at St. Mary's Hospital over in Streeter, and she's got it, and she's been in bed. She just passed away the other day. She was in bed for 30 years. Well, and her father was a doctor here in LaSalle. If anything could have been done with it, would have been done. I'm lucky I found out, I know I've got Dr. Encian here, you know him? And he's a great doctor. You can talk to him and explain things to him and he explain it back. So we got talking the other day and I said, well, how come you know so much about MS? He says, my sister has it. So if anything can be done or anything comes up new, he'd be the first one to jump on the bandwagon. But so is there anything else you'd like to know? See, they cured up what I had, and I went to Okinawa for a year. Then I went home and I used to work for R. Donnelly and Sons, the printers, over in Dwight, Illinois. They got a big factory over there. I worked for them for almost 30 years until the MS started getting a little worse and getting a little worse. And finally, the last time I was and I used to have a lifeline at home. I used to be by myself at home all the time. Well, I fell a few times, quite a few times, and the ambulance would have to come pick me up and put me back in the chair or back in bed. And then the last time I was in the hospital, he said, you can't be by yourself anymore. So I went to a nursing home in Ottawa for 90 days, and they kicked me out, and then my wife got me in here. And they started working with me a little bit, and I feel good and I feel great. So
when you were in the service, what was the food like?
It was like?
The food like?
Oh, it was good. Food was good, and we was in Vietnam. We had our own big mess hall, right where I was at, and then then they have snack bars all over. If you didn't like what you had, they were having that day for dinner, you'd go to the snack bar and grab something, and the food it's like we was in Okinawa the last year. Once a month they tried to use up the old sea rations that were in the boxes and stuff, probably from back in the 40s and stuff, and they'd put them in big tubs of water, and you just pick out what you want and stuff like that. Oh yeah, food's always been good. I took basic training down in Fort Polk, Louisiana, and then from there I went to Aberdeen Proving Grounds in Maryland for a wheel and track school. they brought me out of there and they sent me to Fort Polk for a little while. I used to drive a 44 passenger bus and a wrecker all over Louisiana and that, and then they shipped me to Vietnam from there.
Did you have any kind of entertainment? Any entertainers come and see you?
I was lucky when we were in Vietnam. I got to see Bob Hope. We was in Da Nang, and they had a big place called Marble Mountain. There must have been 10,000 GIs up and down this mountain, and they had a big stage down front. And Bob Hope flew in, and he got out of the airplane first, and then Rachel Welch. There's about 10,000 GIs going nuts. Rachel Welch, yeah. I seen that, and I got a year and a half later or so, he stopped at Okinawa and put on a show there too. So yeah, that's the main. I always remember that and stuff. But yeah, it's that was about the only entertainment we got. They used to show movies and stuff at night and stuff like that, but usually you were so dang tired you didn't feel like going to no movies or something. So other than that.
Did you ever, when you were on leave, and you traveled, or did you ever travel on leave? And do you have
I
any
come home
special-
from basic training, and before you went to the AIT, they give you 30 days leave, and you got 30 days a year of leave. So I come home, and my ex-wife and I went just visiting or something, or did something, and they have entertainment here and stuff. And you play bingo. I got the big fanatic on that playing bingo and stuff. And I got a big TV set in my room. I got hooked on those judge shows.
Mm-hmm.
I just turn them on every day and watch them. You learn a lot. You learn a lot watching them and stuff like that. And I got to know a lot of the guys around here. And they're getting a few in from Streeter and that know everybody, know my family and stuff. And once in a while, there's some guys from the VFW in Ottawa come over here, but I haven't seen too much of them guys. There are a lot. The VFW in Ottawa is an older group. When I first come over there years ago, they didn't want none of us young guys there. They tried to keep us out, and they say, well, and what they do is that the young guys that come in and going to apply or something, they put them on the hallway and they wouldn't wait on them, and they just get mad and leave. Well, now they need all those young guys. They said, the hell with this, we're not coming back. So the post is getting pretty shaky. But the American Legion over there has, I think, 11 or 1,200 men in it. It's really big, and it's really doing stuff for you.
So did you join both of those groups?
Well, we had the American Legion out of Ransom, but it got so small they closed up. And then I transferred to American Legion in Ottawa, and I transferred from Streeter VFW to the Ottawa VFW. The Ottawa American Legion didn't have a handicap ramp for the people, so I quit there. Now they put up a ramp out in front so that people can go in, and the VFW is all on one floor. So during Lent time and different times, she'll load me up in the car and we'll go to stuff. Like last Sunday, we went out to the farm, and we just pulled the car into the tool shed, and we got out, and the tables were all set up and stuff there. And we had Mother's Day for my mother last Sunday for me, and then my wife's family is next Sunday. So trying to make 2 or 3 families at the same time, that don't get it. So you're so tired when you get back. And they got me a new policy here. The wife has a hard time getting me in and out of the car. especially lifting I can get in the seat and that, but she can't lift my legs. Well, I talked to John here, and it's a new policy from now on. My wife will go to the nurse station and she'll say, I need help getting him in. You know, when I come back, she'll go get him at the nurse station, and they'll send a couple aides out and help me just pick my legs up and get me back in the chair, which is a godsend, which means that I can get out more now and stuff. And there's more people out, a lot of guys out at the farm that can help me get in and out of the car. So that's one of the problems we've overcame. So, and once in a while, she'll come over like today, and she'll push me down to Johnny's down here in the corner, and we'll have supper and stuff and talk over the family stuff. And we can't figure out what we're going to do yet because she's living by herself in our home. Labor of Love, a couple years ago, you've heard of them. They go around fixing places up and that. They put a wheelchair ramp in front of my house and a deck there and stuff. But it's still hard for me when I get in the house to get around the curves and stuff. Like the wheelchair won't fit in the bathroom and stuff like that. So I've only been home once. So, but I will sell that. She was a beauty operator in Ottawa for 42 years. So she knows everybody over there, and she's starting to volunteer at the nursing home over there and stuff. And but we still don't know what this traveling back and forth all the time. It's getting expensive now, the gas and stuff. But no, I like it here, and I feel more safer here. If I need help, I'm what's called a two-person assist. 2 people to get me out of bed, 2 people to get me dressed, 2 people to get me in the bathroom. See, I'll wheel in the bathroom and I'll pull the light on. Well, one girl will come, then she'll go get another girl to help her. It's always got to be 2 people, because 90% of the time I don't have no problems. But once in a while, my knees will give out for me and I'll go down. And there ain't no sense the girls taking a chance on that. But I feel more safer here than I do at home. Because if I have trouble or if I have problems or something, they put braces on both of my legs. And last month I had to go put a catheter in because my bladder quit. And that, so, but I feel more safer here than I do going home. The people treat you great, and if you got any problem, you push on the buzzer in your room, or you meet one of the girls out in the hall. Because I had a problem with constipation for years here, but now we've got a result. They see me coming down the hall going like crazy. One of the girls know I'm heading for my room, and they'll come down there and help me. So I get along with everybody here, and no problem. Meeting a lot of new guys coming in, and they're in the same boat. And so no, I like it here now. But I got used to it. Don't complain about nothing. So, I used to be very active all my life. I used to work in a factory for 30 years, and we used to work 1,000 hours a year overtime. Plus, my dad and I would farm on the side, and then I would paint houses in between time. So I was very active all my life, and now I can't even change a light bulb. It gets kind of depressing sometimes, but no, I've learned to live with it, and talk to everybody, and get along with everybody. Sometimes they say I talk too much, but and a lot of the people will come and they'll talk to me, and I said, well, how come everybody comes and talks to me all the time and tells me the problems and stuff? He says, because you still got it up here. Yeah. Other than that, I really like it here now that I got used to it, and if I got a problem, I know how to solve it, or know what to do about it. So, because the last time went home, I fell, and my wife couldn't get me up, And she had to call her sisters and some of her family to come over and get me up. And I said, that's it. I'll just stay right here and we'll go out. And like I said, I'm meeting a lot of new people all the time, and some of them would talk too dang much, and there we go outside and sit in the sun for a little bit. I can't be out there too long, but other than that, I like it here now. I feel safe here.
Do you recall any particular humorous or unusual events when you were in the service?
No, other than what I told you, getting blown up in front and the back, and the weeds being off the high truck. I looked for a million of them people come out of there at the same time. And I thought, oh, we've had it. They got it fixed, and we went on about our business. And we used to go in Da Nang and load our supplies up and everything. It was right by the South China Sea. We used to park down there on the sand and sleep up on top of our trucks and listen to that water just roar and roar and roar all the time. So, hey, you think a lot of things you don't forget about it. I got a few pictures in my room. In Japan, well, most of them are Okinawa, but they had Buddha shrines and all that stuff. I got some of the pictures in my room, and right before I got to Okinawa used to have all the B-52 bombers headed for Vietnam, and they'd take off in the morning. Their wings would be almost touching the ground, and at night they'd come back in. Well, one day, one of the planes didn't make it off the end of the runway. It exploded. It shattered homes for miles in every direction and stuff there. And I've got some pictures there. They look like teardrops coming down out of the plane, but they were bombs and stuff like that. They were protesting the United States being over on Okinawa until we got it all straightened out. So, but there was a lot of military bases over there, and I got to see. On the side of Okinawa is a monument dedicated to Ernie Pyle. Yeah, his widow come over a couple of times and visited the monument. You had to take a little boat from Okinawa out to the Ernie Pyle monument. Yeah, I remember that. I went out there a couple of times and seen it. So, but other than that, not too much. Other than what I told you, the ordinary.
Did you and your friends in the service ever do pranks on each other?
Yeah, nah, he was too busy most of the time, and no, not that I can remember. It's a little more serious than doing that. Everybody was waiting for you to get your 1 year in to go home. And then while you were over there for a year, you got to go on R&R. I was supposed to go into Australia, but I got medevaced out before my tour for Australia would come up. So, but a lot of the guys are waiting for their week or 2 weeks, whatever they get them for R&R, and everybody waiting to go home. We got home, everybody was kissing the ground when we got here, and I haven't been in a plane since. I swear to God, when I got home, if I made it home, I come home in '69 and landed at O'Hare, and I haven't been back in one since. My wife keeps hounding me. She wants to take me to Vegas one time because I've never seen it, and I won't go. Maybe on a train or a bus or something, but I won't. Once I got my feet on the ground, I wasn't going back up. A lot of the guys went back over for 2 or 3 tours. I made it home the first time. I was sure wasn't going back. The same way with the guys from Iran, coming home. They're going back 2 or 3 times. No way. I got home once, and that's why they're having trouble with all these National Guard guys that are over there. they're coming home, but they're not re-enlisting because of the chance they might have to go back again. So, a lot of difference.
So you think the military changed your life any?
Oh, it makes a man out of you. I mean, you're not a kid anymore. You're guys that get down and give me 10 push-ups or 100 push-ups. You do what you're told to do, and you learn a little discipline and little orders. I never had no problem with that, but some of the guys did. They couldn't take orders. I never will forget this one. She's a hillbilly. This poor man could not keep in step. All the guys were marching all over and doing everything. This poor kid could not keep in step. So the sergeant took him out, and he had to run circles around the platoon every place they marched. And they had guys out there working with him and trying to teach him. And the poor kid could not march or keep in step. So I don't know whatever finally happened to him. But, that I do remember from basic training. So.
Do you stay in contact with any of them?
No, I haven't never seen a one since I got. Oh, I was over there in Vietnam and one day, and I was at the airport waiting to get a ride out or something, and this guy in the back hollered, "Hey, Corrigan, what are you doing?" And I looked around, and here was this Larry Reynolds. Him and I used to work together in a factory in Streeter. And then he was in the Marines, and I lost contact with him. And then over at the factory one day, there was some girls there from Cornell and around, and I said, "Wonder whatever happened to my buddy, Larry." And they kind of looked at me, and they opened their eyes up. Well, he had a bad drinking problem. And he come home one day and went through Cornell 100 and some miles an hour and killed himself. And that's how I found out about him. But him and I worked together for years at the factory. But other than that, I've never seen nobody that I was he wasn't real close with it, but I mean, everybody was friends on that. But no, that's like I said, everybody ought to, the day they graduate from high school, they ought to go in the service, learn a little discipline and respect and how to take orders and do what they're told to do. Every person ought to do that. But a lot of these guys in the Vietnam War, they went to Canada and they went all over to get out of going to the service. And a lot of the college kids didn't go to Vietnam or any of them places because they were in school. And but I said, I think you ought to go to service for 2 years, then go to school. It'd be a whole different world out there. So.
Did you take advantage of the GI Bill?
No, I didn't take advantage of it. I already had a house and stuff, and I didn't take advantage of the GI Bill. And then it took me 5 years to get into the Heinz, to get into the military, because what I've got is a non-service connected disability. So they kept putting my name at the bottom of the list and bottom of the list, and finally this Marty Rue and this other guy over in Ottawa got me in to Heinz, and they've been taking care of me ever since, once I got in. But it was really hard to get in, because this medicine I take is $1,500 a month for the shots. I take a shot of Copaxone every day, and it's supposed to stop the MS or kind of keep it level. And I've been taking that every day, and got in here and walked some days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and other than that, everything doing great.
Is there anything you would like to add?
No, I'm satisfied with everything. The people here and the way they treat you and do for you. I got a port here, and I flush it once a month. We got a catheter here now, and they change it every month or two. And if you're sick, they'll take you right to the hospital because the doctor made a mistake one day and he gave me too much Lasix and it took all the potassium out of my body. I was one step from dying. And as soon as I come back, they had my clothes and stuff sitting there. He says, "You're going to the hospital and you're bypassing the emergency room. You're going right to your room. It's all set up for you." And they got me back on my feet. But if they hadn't caught that, then I wouldn't be here.
Mr. Corrigan, do you realize that, I'm not sure, that we're not here about the nursing home. We're here just about the veterans. I actually work for the Secretary of State.
Yeah.
And we just were coming over to interview veterans about their service. You understand that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your story is very interesting.
Oh, I told you too much then.
No, not at all. I just wanted to make sure. Very interesting.
Yeah.